Shivani Trehan and welcome back to my channel Social Cravings. Now I'm very excited to present this recipe to all of you. It is the recipe of a gluten-free sourdough bread made using Indian flours. Indian flours that are packed with nutrients, are super easily available around you and are inexpensive. So this recipe is not only gluten-free, it is dairy-free, it is yeast-free, it is oil-free and it is soy-free. And you can also do a vegan version of this recipe. So in case you want to do a vegan version of this recipe, all you need to do is replace the egg, the actual egg, with a chia seed egg. And I will put the link down below in the description box on how to make a chia seed egg. And actually you can do that for any cake recipe or any bread recipe that has egg in it. Now in this recipe we will be using 3 different flours, a combination of 3 different flours. First being buckwheat flour, also known as kuttu ka atta, sorghum flour, also known as jowar atta, and brown rice flour. Now buckwheat flour and sorghum flour, as we know, are very rich in fiber. They have very high protein content, they have antioxidant properties and rich in vitamins. Brown rice flour is made with unhulled rice, so it is more nutrient dense. So it has a lot of fiber, protein and iron. It also has a slightly nutty flavor and is gritty in texture. So this bread is actually really tasty. I mean, I've baked it before and I've consumed it before, and sometimes more so than consuming it for breakfast, I actually end up consuming it for lunch and dinner. Obviously depending on what is made at home, but it's really nice. So it pairs really well, with your soup meals, like with soup and vegetables, or when you're having like soup and some grilled chicken, you can definitely have this bread along with it. Let's get into the recipe now. For this recipe, we will need 3 kinds of flours: brown rice flour, buckwheat flour, which is also known as kuttu ka atta, and millet flour. Now for millet flour, you can take either sorghum, which is jowar atta, you can either use pearl millet, which is bajra, or finger millet, which is ragi. So I am using jowar flour. So I'm going to use jowar atta and buckwheat flour in double quantity than that of brown rice flour. So if I've taken 2 spoons of buckwheat flour and 2 spoons of jowar atta, then I will only use 1 spoon of brown rice flour. Now I'm going to add water little by little and mix all the 3 flours. After mixing, this is what the consistency should look like. It should look like a thick paste. Now we are going to let the flour sit for about 3 to 4 hours. It's been 4 hours and now I'm going to check on my batter. To this I'm going to add 1 free-range organic egg. As mentioned earlier, you can also do a vegan version of this recipe using flax seeds egg. See the description box for the link. 2 spoons of maple syrup and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now we are going to mix this. So to give the bread some amount of rise, we will use a spoon of baking powder and ENO. Now we are going to mix this. Now we are going to take a baking tin and then cover it with baking paper or parchment paper. To this we will put oil all around the parchment paper so that the bread doesn't stick to the paper once it's out of the oven. Now we are going to put this entire mix in the baking tin. To this, add some pumpkin seeds, some chopped walnuts and some sunflower seeds. Now we are going to keep this tin and mix aside for about 3 to 4 hours and let the dough rise. Now we will bake the bread for 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius covered with foil. We are covering it with foil so that the seeds and the nuts on top don't burn. And then for another 20 minutes after removing the foil. And voila! The gluten-free sourdough bread is all ready. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this recipe and that this recipe was helpful. Now the best part about this recipe is that you can actually freeze it. You can freeze the bread, and what I would recommend is that once the bread is made, that you just slice it into pieces and freeze it. So every time you want to use it, all you need to do is just take out those 2-3 slices and consume. So the last time I made this bread, I think it lasted me for around a period of 2 weeks, which is not that bad. And that's it, guys. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe, and if you do end up trying this recipe, let me know how it turned out. Wait for me to share some more recipes with all of you. Until then, lots of love.